Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again with another short story from the collection titled Tales of Ghosts and Others, written by Sarah Naricia. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to them. Like, comment, and subscribe. Louise runs away. It was January 19th. Right in the middle of winter. Cold snow fell from the cloudy sky and landed on the ground below the girl. She shivered, partly from the cold, and partly with anticipation. Louise pulled her green coat tightly around her shoulders, her heart thundering inside her chest. Doo-dum, doo-dum, doo-dum. She felt blood rush to her head and rubbed her temples, her fingers half frozen. She had forgotten her mittens at home. She was standing in a little clearing within the large forest. Tall pine trees surrounding her, their dull green leaves bending under the small piles of snow that had fallen upon them. Louise looked forward, where a long dirt path weaved the trees. She could see the smallest light at the end of it, like a little firefly. She lifted her left hand in her mouth and blew on it, trying to warm her fingers. But her breath was so sharp and cold, it only made it worse. Louise shoved her hands in her pockets, clutching at the folds of cloth and digging her nails into the fabric. She was still too cold. This was a mistake. She shouldn't have come here. As Louise's mother always said, strange things happen to those who leave at night. She should have listened to her, but she didn't. Despite her nervousness of being out alone in the woods at night, anger was swarming through Louise's head. She was staying at her grandparents' house supposedly for Christmas break. Her father and mother were supposed to bring her back home on New Year's Day, but they didn't. Another promise broken. Sweet Louise, Mrs. Cord said sadly on the phone. But Louise wasn't fooled. She was just pretending, and she couldn't detect excitement in her mother's voice. Your father's business trip was extended for another 8 days. We'll be staying in Italy until then. Have fun at your grandma's. He hung up. Mr. Cord, Louise's father, was a filmmaker. He had recently got a job in Italy, which was supposed to last a week. But now, it was a month. And his wife just had to go with him, didn't she? Mrs. Cord didn't care about her 8-year-old daughter, did she? She only wanted to stay in Rome with her husband, while Louise was stuck inside her grandparents' house. Louise had been counting the days, and the day before her parents were going to finally pick her up, which was today. They extended it for another month. Louise had had enough. She was running away. Where she was going, she had no idea, but she needed to get away. Needed to get away from her mushy grandparents that treated her like a baby. Needed to get away from her non-existent parents. Ugh. Except now, she was lost in the woods and had no idea where to go. With nobody to guide her, and no phone, she was too little, her mother said. She would have to find the way herself. Sad, angry, and fearful of the darkness that was slowly creeping between the trees, she plunged on through the woods. She didn't know how far she had walked before Louise found the cabin. She was on the verge of settling down in the snow to sleep when she saw smoke coming out from the tops of trees. Thinking that someone built a campfire, she followed the smoke. It wasn't a campfire. It was a little house. A wall of pine trees half surrounded the cabin, which made a very dark wood. 2 windows were inserted into each wall, all made of clear glass. The door was also made of wood, though this time a lighter color, and supported a brass doorknob in the shape of an animal's head. The smoke that Louise had followed was pouring out of a small chimney attached to the roof, though the amount of smog coming out was more than it should have been. She should have taken it as a warning, but she didn't. Louise let out a small sigh of relief. Maybe the people who lived in this house would have a phone so she can call her grandma and grandpa. Why had she run away in the first place anyway? She ran up to the closest window and eagerly peered in. She saw a cozy-looking living room with plush sofas and a fluffy carpet, all crowded around a welcoming fireplace. There was a family too, all seated along the couches. There was a mother, father, sister, brother, and a baby. All were wearing matching smiles and warm looks in their eyes. It looked like the most complete family Louise had ever seen, and she felt empty just looking at it. She felt the sudden urge to start crying as she watched the mother pick up her son and cradle him in her arms, kissing the top of his head. There was no time to dilly-dally. Louise knew that. She brushed the first tears from her eyes and walked up to the door, knocking on it. Almost immediately, the door opened, the mother looking at her with a gentle smile. "Why, hello, sweet girl. And what's a beautiful creature like you doing out here?" I'm lost, ma'am. I ran away from my house." "Oh, honey. Why did you do that?" "Look, my name is Mommy," he said with another smile. "Why won't you come in?" Louise thought that Mommy was a strange name, or maybe it wasn't her real name, and she was just so used to being called that by her children that she said it by accident. Regardless, Louise said nothing and stepped into the cabin. All at once, everything went black. The comfy sofas disappeared, and the rug turned to an old cloth. The fire grew unnaturally large, burning with what looked like hatred and anger. All 8 windows were shattered and boarded up, just like that. Louise didn't even see it happen. Transformation was so quick. Her heart pounded in her chest. It was so dark. She could see nothing but the bright glow of the fire, but the flame didn't illuminate the rest of the house. A A strong scent of rotten fish reached Louise's nose, and she whimpered. What was happening? Where did the family go? Ma'am? Ma'am, where did you go? Why is it so dark? The poor girl turned around, thinking she heard something. The woman, Mommy, was nowhere to be seen. Fear overtook Louise, and a strange howling noise filled the air, like the sound of a dying dog. Then a hissing voice said,
You ran away. People who run away don't come back.
Louise screamed and bolted for the door. It wouldn't open, and tears just poured down her face as the hissing grew nearer. The fish stench grew stronger, and she wrinkled her nose in disgust. I won't die, Louise shouted. I will not die. Filled with new strength, she kicked the door open, feeling the fresh breeze on her face. She was free. She was utterly and completely free. Louise ran and ran and ran. Did she reach home? I don't know. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story.